Hey everyone, it's Jocelyn from Real Management Talk with LJ and Jocelyn, and I'm here with LJ, and we want to welcome you to season 2, episode 2. We're
Woo!
so excited that you've joined us. And LJ, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about effective leadership during the pandemic. What does effective leadership look like during the pandemic?
Awesome topic, right? Because we've been dealing with this pandemic for like 18 months, and fortunately, looks like it's somewhat here to stay, at least for a couple more years. So, right? I mean, I think you and I have discussed the fact that, people are kind of worn out a little bit. It seems that tempers and frustrations may be varying a little bit. We're all seeing that from day to day. I mean, we see stories of the airline industry and other stuff, and you're like, what is going on with people? But, effective leadership, though, really, it's being able to take a 3D view, which I see that you're prepared with your 3D glasses for this discussion. So,
We're prepared today. We're prepared for this topic.
You're prepared today, but it really is being able to take that 3D view and step back with yourself, with others, with other people, and figuring out how to pivot and help meet your team, whatever that looks like, at whatever where they need to be met, while still being able to steer the ship, so to speak, right? Or drive the train, or I don't know, all the rest of those analogies. I'm like, none of these sound really great anymore. They all sound way dated. So I guess I'm dating myself.
Drive the car. Yeah. Fly the drone.
Oh, fly the drone. Yes, fly the drone's really good, right?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I think I'm feeling old again, just for the record. But oh my goodness.
I mean, this is the thing too, right? I have a bone to pick with several people. You are a bad leader if you're out here bad mouthing your team members. I never understood how people thought that other people would perceive them, right? Like when you go out in public and you work somewhere, you know all of the details, all the politics, all the stuff that happens behind closed doors. But what you forget is that when you step outside, people are going to perceive you as being synonymous with that organization. There's no separation. Even if it doesn't matter where on the organizational chart, on the chain of command, it doesn't matter where you are, people are going to associate you with that organization, especially if you've been there for a long time. If you've got their information on your LinkedIn profile or on your Facebook anywhere, your Twitter, your Instagram, you and that organization are one and the same. You're going to be considered one of the same. You're going to be considered always speaking on behalf or part of that organization. Mm-hmm. So if you're out here bad mouthing your team members, or bad mouthing your leadership, or bad mouthing your board members, you're coming out looking very disjointed. You're not only disjointed, you look very unprofessional, very, very unprofessional. And people tend to want to support organizations like USAA or State Farm, or these other really, Amazon, these big organizations where people seem to really be happy at what they do. They're not disgruntled employees. They're not out there in public spaces talking trash about their team members. Whatever happens in the workplace happens in the workplace. It's like what we said as kids. Your parents will tell you, what happens in my house stays in my house. Okay. And we said that for a good reason. It wasn't because we didn't want you to have friends and vent, and it wasn't about that. It was about understanding that everyone has drama in their life. Everyone has something that they're dissatisfied with, in their personal or professional life. There's going to be dissatisfaction, but you don't take that and air it out to the public when you're talking to people who don't really understand, they don't understand the context of what you're discussing. You know, they can see
Right.
that you're upset, they can see that you're disgruntled, you're dissatisfied, and they're going to probably at the time empathize with you. So they're going to side with you and they're going to, you know, act like they agree, but they don't have the context. So they can't help you. They can only empathize with you. Empathizing and helping are two different things. So you need to be cognizant, and then things change. You know, your feelings are going to change. So I feel like that's one of the worst things is when you're out here talking so badly about a particular person or an organization, and then, you know, later down the road you end up working with them or working for them. It's always the worst thing because you could have tempered your tongue. You could have given that person grace. You could have tried to understand why they did what they did at that time, whatever decision that they made that you didn't agree with. You could have taken the moment to pause and think before you spoke, but you chose violence, as the young people say. You chose to speak, you know, but where did it get you?
Well, no, you have an exact point, and it's not just actually in the workplace. And you know, I had a meeting with somebody here real recently, and we were talking about they have a consulting firm, and we just we met at an organization here, and so just, you know, having a chat, and you know, they were talking about how the last position that they worked for, they could never, even if like say a client was really horrible, it wasn't just being able to keep that in, you know, internal, but it was also about the fact like they couldn't effectively fire those folks. They couldn't do that. And I think that this takes on different ways, because like what I said to her is, I said, oh no, I said, I've literally built an entire company that my entire team knows it's okay to fire people even in the middle of a contract, even if it's really going to hurt on the revenue side. If they're just truly not in alignment with us, and you know, people are beating you up, and I you know, teach my clients that, and you and I've had lots of talks about that. But I think it's this other side though too. And so when you said that, I went, huh, yeah, because there's something that's really bothered me for years. I'm not sure you and I've ever talked about this, but it's really along this same side. You know, oftentimes, as you know, I'll tell people, you have to look at your household as a business, whether you want to look at it that way or not. It is, right? So your family are the people who are on your team, right? Any of you ladies out there listening to this, listen up. Stop going out in public and talking bad about your husbands or your significant other or partner, or whatever word we're using these days, of people that you've been with for years, or even that boyfriend or girlfriend that you chose to move in with. Stop. It makes you look bad. It makes you look bad. You know, and I've had known women, and some of them were my friends over the years, that I thought, why in the world did you even marry that guy? Because you obviously don't like him. You know, I'm not talking about, we're all human. And so sometimes things can happen, and we go out with our girlfriends, or we go out with somebody we trust, and we just vent. We're all human, right? Yes. But and we know the guys do it too. They just do it different than us. Although sometimes I think that, quite honestly, they gossip more and everything than we do. But that's a whole different discussion we can have someday. But it's, stop doing it. This is the stuff that separates us all.
Yes.
And yeah. So, anyways, we need to take our commercial break, because you know our sponsors actually like it when we do that. So, folks, we will be right back after this word from our sponsors. And if you would like to sponsor us, just either reach out, or there is a link to us, and you too can help sponsor this and talk with us. So we'll be right back. Well, I say that. We will really now be right back.